Steven is in the black rash guard without the beard.
Randy definitely a thick 55er here.
Yeah. Very contrasting body types for
Yeah, absolutely.
weight class. Randy just looks thick and strong for this weight.
Absolutely. Steven opting to pull guard here after.
This is what you managed in the other match. Like sometimes guys will wrestle and then after about 30 seconds, like it's not worth the energy. I'm just gonna pull.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like, you kind of feel out their energy, feel out the physicality, and I'm sure Randy did not feel very weak in some of those collar tie exchanges.
Sometimes I think they just hope the other guy pulls and for them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'll wrestle enough just to let him pull, and if he doesn't, I'll pull.
Yeah, get right to the jiu-jitsu.
And again, there's no points to. Oh, Randy sits on the leg right away.
Yeah.
Again, coming from 10th Planet Atlanta, Steven definitely is going to have good understanding of that kind of double outside ashi game.
Absolutely, but Dark Side, I mean, they have
great leg
nasty leg
well.
locks too. Yeah. Jordan Holy coming from there, one of their top guys, Midwest finisher vet.
Dean Lister lineage. I could be wrong, but I believe
yeah.
they have, or at least used to. So.
Yeah, so both of these guys are going to be very savvy in the leg exchanges here. So this is going to be an interesting match. I mean, Randy finding his way here to the top position. This is probably going to be the theme of the match, seeing Randy here on top, maybe sitting back for legs, but ultimately fighting back to the top position. Steven looking like he has a very flexible guard with a lot of dexterity.
The 10th Planet Atlanta crew, whether it's Midwest Finishers champ Kevin Beering or Ryan Aiken or those guys, they always have a good job of playing the butterfly game, looking for those arm crutches to get submissions and sweeps and then isolate the legs in transitions. I would expect the same from Steven. Kind of settling into some heavy pressure. He's keeping that left knee nice and heavy in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Randy try to leg drag that top leg of Steven if he stays in those positions, trying to get outside of the hips. Randy pulling the head, a little kind of open guard can opener action. Good way to really keep pressure and make the bottom guy uncomfortable.
And it's good. I can't think of a way that, I mean, they seem like they're just very canceling each other out. They're both very high level. It'll be interesting to see who gets an edge and how. Looks like Steven trying to get under him. Randy doing a good job, staying in a good knee staple position. Right leg posted out nice and wide. Good base. We're seeing a lot of that sort of false reap without the arm under as kind of a frame.
Nice off balance from Steven. He's going to at least use it to get on top, which he does. We'll see if he can change kind of the pace of the match now that he's on top. Now they're back to his feet, and then Steven just sits, kind of reset. I'm interested to see as this match goes on if the pacing changes. One of the things that, obviously technical changes, but sometimes you just change dramatically is just how you pace the match. Right now both guys are in a very kind of even cruise control. No one's really pushing hard or fast. They're both kind of waiting. If nothing's happening, this is a good way to kind of change it. Just attack the same attacks but a little quicker. Break that tempo, break that rhythm. We'll see if either guy opts to do that.
And it's been a lot of one-sided guard passing. Randy passing to the right side, which in general is usually people's weaker side. But Steven doing a good job, staying comfortable playing on this hip as well. So, yeah, like I've been saying, it looks like these guys, they're both trying to set stuff up, but everyone's so savvy.
He's got that shoulder crush.
They shot the shoulder crush here, but it looks like Randy was just kind of trying to find his moment, not really rushing out of
he
that.
wasn't really committed to it either. It's like both guys are a little, again, they respect each other, obviously, but neither is really committed to anything that full yet.
Yeah, a very conservative approach for sure.
Yeah, halfway in, right as I say that, was a little exchange, and again, kind of reset to the same position. Now that we're halfway through, you're interested to see if, again, there's a dynamic change or tempo change.
And this sort of butterfly half situation has been kind of the story of the match so far. Randy keeping that left arm kind of weaved through onto the hip there. And Steven kind of pushing him away, almost appearing to get a little bit frustrated from the bottom here.
As we're past halfway, and we really haven't seen anyone kind of get to anything even close to a dominant position or a sub. This may be our first overtime match.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like I was saying, it'll be interesting to see if anybody does get an edge, how that's going to happen here, because Randy doing a good job putting the pressure kind of forward here, but with the guard as dynamic as Stevens, I mean, I would almost think disengaging and trying to move side to side laterally might be a better option at this point.
Sometimes I think as both a coach, competitor, commentator, this is a match where both guys are being so disciplined to what they want to do that neither guy is really willing to like trust in something outside of the exact game plan they had. Like this clearly seems to be the exact guard Steven wanted to play, and Randy wants to be in this guard passing position, and neither guy is really willing to deviate from that path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we were in like a fight to win rule set where, you know, you were getting sort of points by sub attempts, you would say Steven's definitely ahead on the sub attempts, but I mean, he hasn't gotten really that deep on anything. It's been more just kind of, you know, fishing for the arms, fishing for the choi bar kind of things, fishing for those straight shoulder crunch arm bars. Maybe he's trying to set up sumigeshis, but Randy doing a good job just staying in base and not really letting any kind of off balances happen. And so we're kind of winding down here into this regulation period, and this is EBI overtime, and so if there is no submission after this 10-minute regulation, we will go to the EBI overtime period. And as I say that,
Randy finally sits back again.
Yeah, Randy
early. See if he changed it.
Yeah, he's sitting back, and Steven doing a good job keeping his foot planted on the mat, and now the foot has been elevated off the mat. Outside heel hook here. Steven, big reaction there. That
was definitely the closest to this match, but then we
for sure
in the same spot.
Yeah, absolutely, but that'll definitely get Steven thinking about, you know, his right leg placement and the potential for Randy to fall back on that again.
This will be interesting to see the overtime dynamic, as neither guy's been super aggressive in regulation, and both coming from really well prepared gyms for this rule set. And will be interesting to see who has the overtime advantage, especially stylistic or body type wise. Randy sometimes as the shorter kind of stockier guy, it can be hard to hold. Steven the longer, lankier guy with the longer legs for like the body triangle game. It could be a very interesting contrasting style in the overtime. Again, when you train with 10th Planet Atlanta, Ryan Aiken may be the best EBI player in the world. Him and Nicky Rod are probably the two hardest to deal with EBI overtime guys, so you know that experience should be there. But Randy is a very, very well prepared no-gi competitor. He's competed all over the country in every rule set, and we've seen him in EBI here before, so he definitely will come from a strong background with that as well.
And so we're under a minute here remaining. We don't have a clock in front of us, so we're not able to see the exact time, but I just expect maybe 20-30 seconds left at this point. So it looks like this is going to be fixing to be the first overtime match of the afternoon. and the referee gets to decide. Oh, I'm not going to explain it until the match is over here. Quick footlock attempt there from Randy.
Oh, that was a tight one, man.
Yeah, big reaction.
So I'm guessing they're going to give that to Randy kind of for the decision since he had 2 deep attempts late in that match, and they do.
Yep. So Randy gets to choose whether he wants to attack or defend first. And it looks like he is choosing to defend. And so Steven got to choose the back. And you know they've drilled this a ton over at 10 Planet in Atlanta. They probably drill this position on a daily basis, so this is going to be, you'd have to think this position favors the 10 Planet Atlanta guy, but again, Randy coming from Dark Side Jiu-Jitsu, where a ton of EBI experience there, so we'll see how this plays out. Oh, and it looks like this is already tied. There's a quick tap.
Now this is a time submission, so Randy will have a chance. He has to get a submission quicker, which is going to be very tough, especially when Steven knows all he has to do is not get tapped in 15 seconds.
Absolutely. Steven doing a good job here.
He's the time, even if he doesn't get.
Yep,
and
arms
that's
out,
the
and that is the
escape anyway.
match.
Very nice performance from Steven Dana. Long, tough match, but he's able to get the submission in our first overtime, and he will be moving on in our bracket.